Okay, so we're going to learn how to differentiate a basic term. What we need to do when we're differentiating is to multiply by the power n here and then take one off the power. This is the basic rule. So if we're differentiating x to the n, it's going to be n times x to the power of n minus 1. That's our general rule here. So let's look at a few specific cases. If we're differentiating x to the power 6, we're going to multiply by the power. So it's 6 times x to one power less, take one off the power. So if we differentiate x to the power 6, we get 6x to the power 5. So x to the power 4 would differentiate to become 4x to the power 3. X to the power 1, well, that would become 1 times x to the power 0. And you should know anything to the power 0 is equal to 1. So this is just going to be 1 times 1, which is 1. And if we're differentiating any constant, we can write a constant, c, this could be any number, as c times x to the power 0, because we just said x to the power 0 is equal to 1. So when we differentiate this, we're going to have 0 times cx, so take one off the power, minus 1. This is just 0. If we differentiate a constant, we always get 0. So a more general rule is when we've got something times x to a power. So when we've got this, ax to the power n, we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to times by the power, so n times ax and take one off the power. So we've got n minus 1. So 4x cubed would become 3 times 4x to the power 2. So that is 12x squared. 6x squared would become 2 times 6x to the power 1. So that is just 12x. 3x, well, we'll multiply by the power, which is 1. So it's 1 times 3x, take one off the power, so it's 0. So 3x to the power 0 is just 3. So this is just 1 times 3, which is 3. And again, if we're differentiating a constant, if we're differentiating 5, it just becomes 0. Okay, so let's just have a look at the notation that we use when we're differentiating. We say dy dx is the derivative of y with respect to x. So if we've got a function y equals x cubed plus 4x squared, and we're asked to differentiate it, then what we're looking for is dy dx. That is the derivative of y with respect to x. The other type of notation is function notation. So here we read this as f prime x, and that is the derivative of a function of x, f of x, with respect to x. So if we were given a function of x like we've got over here, f of x equals x squared minus 5x plus 3, we'll notate the derivative of that as f prime of x. So let's derive these two, let's differentiate these two polynomials we've got here. When we're differentiating a polynomial, we just need to apply this process of differentiation to each term individually. So here, our x cubed would become 3x squared, and our 4x squared would become 8x. And now we've differentiated that function. And similarly, here we've got f of x equals x squared minus 5x plus 3. So f prime x would be 2x minus 5. When we differentiate the 3, it goes to 0. So f prime x in this case is just 2x minus 5.